Hi all, this is May and welcome back to my channel for a brand new speed build. So today I'm building a modern family home in Newcrest for my save file, and as always I do have a playlist up on my channel with all the builds I've done so far, so if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure to do so after this video. I've been doing a couple of community lots recently as I need to focus more on those for my save file, but today I'm back with a residential lot where one of my own original Sims households are going to be living. They are a small family of 2 parents and their 2 kids, who I will talk about later on in the video, like I usually do with all my save file videos. So for those of you who don't know, I've been working on the save file for about maybe around 10 months now, I would say, and I'm currently focusing on renovating the base game worlds coming with The Sims 4, so that's Willow Creek, Oasis Springs, and Newcrest, and I'm over halfway done with those now. I've done a couple of builds here and there in other worlds as well when I felt the need to kind of take a step back and build something else somewhere else. And I've also been giving the townies makeovers, and I've made some original Sims like the household who will be living in today's build. But before I go on talking about the household for today, I'll start by talking about the house we're working on. It took me a moment to get the exterior shape right. I did use a reference photo from Pinterest for the front of the house, just changed a couple of details here and there. Then I got a bit uncertain about how I wanted the back of the house to look like. So initially I didn't want the back to be symmetrical with the front, just to sort of mix it up a bit, get creative, you know, but in the end I wasn't too sure how I wanted to go about it. Honestly, sometimes making modern homes can be a bit tricky in my opinion, but even if the back and front are pretty much the same, I'm still satisfied with how this turned out. Mostly because at this point it had been a while since I'd done a modern home. After this one, I've done a couple of modern community lots, and I'll probably continue making some of those since for some reason it's easy for me to do that style for community lots, which kind of contradicts my statement I just made about the modern style being a bit tricky to do, but I just especially like how that style looks in Newcrest, which is where we are building today. So I'm imagining this whole neighborhood is going to be modern builds, and I'm planning on making some modern townhouses here along with another family home and perhaps a recreation center plus another community lot that I haven't really decided what will be yet. But the recreation center has some requirements, I do believe, such as art stuff and workout equipment, so I don't think I'll do a gym here as well, but yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about what to add here along with the recreation center, but I'm at least planning on doing the recreation center on the biggest lot here. I think that would work perfectly. I mess around with the shape and windows for today's build quite a lot, I would say. So I have cut some of the footage of me doing the exterior simply because, as mentioned, it took me some time just fumbling around to figure out what I wanted to use and how I wanted it to look. But I end up using some of the eco lifestyle windows, like the window above the entry door here, the oblong one, and then I use some sliding doors from the same pack. I think I was originally going to use the very simple modern windows from Eco Lifestyle 2, but for some weird reason the entire interior lights up like crazy, so I switched them out with the base game ones instead, and I think those ended up white if I'm not mistaken. It will at least take me until we do the interior for me to realize the inside lighting is off, and then I switch them out. And then another window that I rarely use is the one from Get Famous. So it has this big frame around it, and I think that's why I never really use it, because it's kind of a statement window and it wouldn't necessarily work for just any type of house. But since we're doing a modern home today, I thought it looked kind of cool. And I also mix and match a couple of textures on the exterior. We've got some simple white concrete, some nice warm wood siding, and a more cool gray stone. And I think those in combination with each other turned out nice. I do also play around with some platforms for this house. I did use the medium wall height for the first floor, so I raised up the floor a couple of times inside, like the platforms, and then I made some custom stairs outside leading up to both the front door and the backyard door, since we are going to have a fenced in backyard. And there you will find a pool. There will be a bar area, some sun loungers, a grill, and food preparation area, along with an outdoors dining space. And I think I was able to include a lot of stuff, to be honest, so it ends up kind of looking fancy. And I even had a space for a hot tub. I did add that one outside of the fence actually, but it just fit really nicely into that one corner, and then I just made sure to add some extra hedges around that area to kind of make it more private, even though it doesn't really matter in The Sims 4 because, you know, it's just a game. But yeah, just for the sake of realism, I did add some hedges, and I did consider adding in a slip and slide at one point too, but I just didn't have the space, and it unfortunately didn't really fit the vibe I was going for. But if you would like to add one, you could probably make it work. And I do have to mention, I did originally start building this house with the front facing the main road, but then I realized once I saved the house to my library, because sometimes I save the work in progress builds just in case the game crashes or something. But yeah, once I saved it, I noticed that the gallery thumbnail is from the other side, from the side road here. So probably like around halfway through making the shell here, I turned the house around, so that's the reason why I turned it. And the lighting kind of sucks from that side, to be honest, but I will let it slip for this time. But at least I'll try my best to make the lighting work for screenshots and all. The landscaping for this house is quite simple, I would say. I've been trying to hold back a bit just to, I don't know, not make it look like there's too much going on maybe. So I make some stone pathways up to either side of the backyard because there's going to be a gate on both sides. And I add a couple of trees here and there to frame in the build more. I always need to add trees, otherwise the build looks too out of place. Or it kind of depends on the surrounding environment, to be honest, but most of the time in the base game world, I love to add in a couple of trees and plants to make it go more seamlessly into the world around it. I think I also did add in a couple of rocks because, as you can see in the back of the house especially, you can find some rows of stone or rocks, so I tried to replicate that in a way, but I don't think I ended up using the same live edit rock, but something a bit more scattered, I would say, so like smaller rocks. And other than that, I don't think I did anything else with the exterior, maybe, except I did add some kind of statue by the front of the house, just very simple gray standing one, like a rectangle that glows at nighttime, I think it does that actually. But yeah, so I did mention we have a family of 4 Sims who are going to be living here. And if you watch the retired couple's house that I uploaded just a few weeks back, today's household is related to that family. But don't worry if you haven't watched that, I will of course go over it again today so you don't miss out on anything. But if you're ever interested in the retired couple's home, make sure to check it out after this video. So the family who will be living in this modern family home in Newcrest is the Reynolds-Young family, consisting of businesswoman Deborah Reynolds and engineer Chen Yang, and their 2 kids, Kara and Jiro. So Deborah and Chen, they have been engaged for quite a while, but they've never gotten married. So the next step is probably that they would consider getting married, like it's about time. But there probably was never really a good moment to do it with the kids being born and growing up and their careers kind of taking off and all. They are on good terms though, at least that's what I had in mind for them, but you never know. I'll leave that up for you to decide if you do decide to play with this family once the first version of the save file is up. But that's kind of like the story that's going on for them. That's the initial storyline or dynamic that I wanted to include in the save file at least. And as I mentioned earlier, John Reynolds, living in the retired couple's home in Oasis Springs, the build I have a speed build for up on my channel, he is actually Deborah's dad. So Deborah's mom is also going to be in the save file. And Deborah also has a younger sister, Jody, who is a teacher like their mom. And I kind of like the idea of having so many family members just scattered around for my save. But yeah, so Deborah's mom and dad, they divorced a while back, but they're still friends. They get along. They spend the holidays together with the rest of the family. And the dad is also in a new relationship with a man this time. And I just like their whole dynamic with the parents still being friends and John realizing that the reason why the marriage could never last is because he's actually into guys and he'd like to prioritize his own happiness. And I feel like that's realistic in a way. I've certainly heard of people who have been in long relationships or marriages and probably even have gotten kids together, and then one of them go on to be in a relationship with the same gender afterwards. And for this case, seeing as Deborah's mom and dad are still on good terms, I would have imagined that the mom was like just cool with it, you know? She's that kind of woman. Like she might have noticed something was off, but she's just happy that the person she's been with for this long, her partner and friend, that he gets to be happy, you know, because he deserves that too. So yeah, that's kind of the story I went with for Deborah's parents. And Deborah, of course, is the mom in today's household. As mentioned, she is in the business career. She is a regional manager and she's very much of a boss lady, I would say. She's always been very career driven, but she's also a great mom. She also has the traits genius, outgoing, and perfectionist. Plus, she likes to read books, so she has the Renaissance sim aspiration. And I really just love her look, and she's definitely a nice mix of her parents. And Chen Yang, the dad in today's household, he is an engineer. I feel like he doesn't really look like it, but he's quite the muscular guy as well. He's a bit of a cringy guy, but he's also very active. I imagine he'd totally be like the embarrassing dad, especially to Kara, the teen daughter. I also gave him the hot-headed trait. I feel like I never really give any of my Sims that trait. So I thought maybe the reason why Chen does a lot of working out is to, you know, calm down. But he's trying his best, trying to work through it. And I would imagine Deborah and Chen, they built this house themselves. They've probably earned a nice amount of money from their jobs, and I would imagine this area in Newcrest is newer, the houses are new and modern, and it could potentially be a nice area to raise their kids, you know. Maybe some good schools in the area, which does remind me I should add that lot trait to this house. I just very often forget to use lot traits, especially for residential lots. So I should take a mental note of that to add that trait before I upload the build. Next up we have Kara. She is the teen daughter. She is into sports like her dad. She plays on the football team. I would have rather had her on a soccer team, to be honest, if there was one in the game. But yeah, this is the closest to that I could get. So she's also a bit muscular like her dad. They do have their own small fitness studio in the house, by the way, on the second floor. It just has a treadmill and a yoga mat, I do believe. So pretty simple, but I love using the rack with the dumbbells from the Lovestruck pack. And then there's a bench with a towel and the debug bottle from Growing Together. I do know there is a bottle item from the Everyday Clutter kit, but I'm actually not using any kits for my save file because there's just too many of them at this point, and I would love for more people to be able to download and use this, even though arguably, other than that, I don't have any pack restrictions. But yeah, I love using the debug bottle from Growing Together as a little accessory here and there. I just think Live Edit has a lot of great items regardless, so I try my best to find use of the things like here and there. Kara's bedroom is very simple. There is one of the oblong eco lifestyle windows in there, and before I forget it, I know that the wood color on that window is more like orangey tinted than the other wood tones going on here, and the only reason why I went for that swatch over the other matching one is because the metal color didn't match the other windows. So to get those to match, I had to go for the orange swatch, unfortunately. So I think it does look a bit off on the inside, but anyway, there is that window in Kara's bedroom. And I went back and forth a bit trying to figure out the layout of her bedroom, and then I ended up using some island counters beneath that window to use it as a study area. So we got a computer on top of there, and I matched a dresser with the counters. So they're kind of just like tucked together under the window there. And I think it doesn't look half bad. I do love using island counters in replacement of desks for a more modern look sometimes though. She also has a poster above her bed, which I thought was like an inspirational poster, probably of someone she admires. And yeah, other than that, just very clean and simple. And I do have to mention that Kara does have the actor trait, and she is a perfectionist like her mom. And lastly, we have Jiro. He's just like a little guy. He's a charmer. He is a toddler, so I feel like I don't have too much to say about him. But I tried to do a cozy little corner in his bedroom where I use the cow pattern carpet flooring, I would say, from the Lovestruck pack. And I just added some toys and all here and there. So also just like a simple bedroom, I would say. My favorite part inside of this house though must be the open concept kitchen, living and dining room. Once I got started on the interior of this, I realized I rarely do open concepts. I normally do them as separate rooms, especially the kitchen and living rooms. But for this one, I felt like a more open space with more air and like flow would fit better. And I'm glad I went for that because I really like how it ended up looking. So we got the white and grey kitchen with a big island in the middle where I placed the stovetop. I didn't include the footage of me changing around the windows by the kitchen, but I did move them further apart from each other just to line them up with the counters and especially the sink. I did the opposite on the other side actually, where the living room is, so I put them closer together. However, if you do that with those Get Famous windows, there will be some visible clipping, you know, if you put the items kind of into each other. So what I did to solve that problem was to size one of the windows down just a tiny bit with the tool mod, so down to 0.999, I think it is. And I learned this trick from my friend Simmery Sims, actually. Some of you might know her from her YouTube videos, and she's also like just an incredible talented builder and person. And I've seen her do this as of recent, and I think that is such a clever way of just getting rid of the clipping. So very handy for cabinets and bookshelves as well. I have used that trick for some of those as well as of recent. So I'll definitely make sure to remember that trick for future builds going forward. Also, if you didn't know, since The Sims is turning 25 years old this year, we've been getting a few exciting things. The other day, The Sims 1 and 2 were re-released on the EA app, Steam, and Epic on Windows computers, and I am so excited about that fact because I've been playing The Sims since the first version came out, and I wasn't able to get The Sims 2 bundle when it went up for free, like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, and I'm just so excited to get back into it, relive some of that nostalgia and just be like a kid again, I suppose. But I would say The Sims 4 is definitely my favorite out of all of them, which might be like an unpopular opinion, but I just think especially the building is so much better in Sims 4 and Create a Sim is better. But there's just something about the chaos of the Sims 1 and 2 gameplay. And especially Sims 1, I remember was so difficult because the needs go down so quick and you don't really get to do a lot of stuff except taking care of your Sims. So I actually do wonder if there are any mods that can help slow that down, among other things. I really wish there were added features to Sims 1 to make it even better, such as added life stages, because we only had adults and kids back then, and there was no way of aging the kids up except to use like a magic spell or something, I think I read the other day, which is ridiculous, but I really don't remember that being a thing. Like, you couldn't even age up the kids, but that's just how it was back then. So I feel like Sims 2 was definitely a step up from the previous version, but Sims 2 as well could use a couple of new features, such as everyone in the neighborhood aging up at the same time, or at least having the option to turn that on and off, like we have in The Sims 4. So I feel like that would be excellent. Otherwise, you would have to do rotational gameplay where you play a certain amount of days with each household in the neighborhood. And I do know some people do like that, but it's not really my cup of tea, you know? So those things would be really amazing. But yeah, I'll definitely be checking out that on stream over on Twitch, where I stream weekly, by the way. I usually do building there or gameplay, so if that's of any interest, you can find me over on twitch.tv/honeymaysims. And if you leave a follow, you get notified of when I go live next, and you'll also find me in your following list. So maybe I'll see you there next time. But yeah, I'll definitely be checking those out, and perhaps I'll try to build in The Sims 1 and 2 as well, even though it will be so different and probably so much more difficult as well, but I really want to give it a go. If anyone would be interested in any Sims 1 or 2 building here on the channel though, do let me know. The only thing is I can't remember if you can get tray files for the builds you make, since we obviously don't have anything similar to the gallery in those games, but maybe it could be like a build-a-log or something. I've never really done anything like that before, but I do know a lot of people, like Simmers, YouTube content creators, they do more like building in real time, but I think that is so difficult. I don't know how they do it, because I would never be able to make up my mind about what to use or how things are supposed to look within just like a couple of hours of building. Because I always go back, I make changes, and that's just how I am. I'm like so indecisive. But yeah, do let me know if that's of any interest with Sims 1 and 2, like the building. And also, by the way, if you haven't gotten the Sims 1 or 2 packs or bundle, but you would like to at some point, you can also use my promo code HoneyMay at checkout when purchasing those through the EA app or through thesims.com. It is not a discount code, unfortunately, but it will directly support me with a percentage of your purchase. And I'll always just recommend using someone's creator code if you come across one, because it will support a content creator. And if you do end up using my code though, I just want to say thank you. I really do appreciate it, and it does not go unnoticed. And also thank you to the EA Creator Network for providing me with my own code to be used. I know that I'm talking about other stuff than the actual build. I'm not sure when I'm posting this speed build, since there's so much stuff going on, new kits coming out and all, but hopefully it won't be that long after there was a new base game update where we got a new base game kitchen set with counters and cabinets, along with a new bar, I think, new floor tiles and wall tiles, and much more. There is also a new event going on where you can get some retro Sims 1 and 2 items, such as the classic inflatable couch and armchair. There is going to be a retro alarm clock, decorative phones, and so on. So if you haven't checked those out yet, make sure to do so. I hope that's gonna be up by the time I post this. And also, by the way, there has been some leaks regarding the next expansion pack in The Sims 4. So back in January, we got a roadmap, and some things weren't as clear as others, such as the base game update and the ongoing event. But a couple of days ago, maybe like a few weeks at this point, there was a leak that told us the next expansion pack will be called Business and Hobbies, or it will be themed around that at least. And I'm so curious about how that will work out. I mean, I love me some new hobbies in The Sims. However, we do already have Get to Work. Isn't it the first expansion pack we had? And with that expansion pack, we got the opportunity to buy and run our own retail stores and businesses. So I'm wondering how different it will be from that, or if they will also go back to Get to Work and refresh some features. I'm not entirely sure. One thing I am hoping for with the whole hobbies aspect is bands. To be able to play in a band would be pretty cool. We have like a lot of different instruments at this point. And at this point, I'm just trying to think back to what kind of hobbies we had in The Sims 2, because there was a pack called Free Time, and with that one, you got some hobbies such as renovating cars. I think there was pottery, sewing, things like that. And all those would be pretty cool to have in The Sims 4, to be honest. We already do have knitting, cross-stitching, but sewing your own clothes would be cool. Or I would love to have pottery in the game as well. Like imagine having your own small pottery studio or selling your pottery. Again, I would love that. We did get Plopsy and the Nifty Knitting Stuff pack a while ago, which is sort of like Etsy, I would say. So that could be a nice feature to use as well with the whole like hobbies and business feature. I don't think we'd necessarily need a new world with a business and hobbies pack, sort of like they did with Seasons, although I could see a city kind of world coming with a pack like that. I mean, we got Ciudad and Enamorada not that long ago, and that was also kind of like a city type of world, but it would be nice if they could focus more on gameplay over making a world, for example, because I gotta say, we do have a lot of worlds at this point if you have a lot of the packs. I really do wonder what is going to come with that pack though. We do have quite a few hobbies already, like flower arranging, nectar making, baking, canning, knitting as mentioned, woodworking, all those sorts of things. But yeah, are there like any hobbies or business aspect features you'd like to see in The Sims 4 that we don't already have? I still wouldn't be mad if we got a hotel or resort type of business to run. Anything from a bigger hotel to a smaller hotel or something would be nice. I thought it was fun to play with that in The Sims 3 at least. I think we got hotels with the island pack in Sims 3, unless I'm remembering wrong. But that was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't mind seeing the Sims 4 version of that, whether it comes with the upcoming pack or not. I do still know that a lot of people would love to see fairies in the game, and to be honest, some people have been speculating if there will be a time travel pack like we had in The Sims 3 as well. I'm not sure how I would like that, to be honest, since I don't think it's necessarily my type of gameplay. Fairies would be cool though, even if I'm not an occult game player. But I'm always just leaning more towards realism and particularly family gameplay over occult like fantasy stuff. But I would be happy for anyone who has been asking for a certain pack or certain features. I guess we can just wait and see what The Sims has in store for us. But I'm pretty sure it won't be that long of a wait, according to the roadmap we got in January. So if you have any theories or wishes, do let me know in the comments as well. We can have a little discussion, if you will. And I just realized I babble on there about everything else but the build, but hopefully you enjoyed this build regardless, like just watching it come together while I'm talking. And yeah, other than that, I'm just finishing up the build here and we'll soon head into the screenshots. So that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content in the future. If you want to be notified of when I upload a video next, make sure to click the bell icon too. This build is playtested and up on my gallery. My ID is honeymaysims, or you can find me with the hashtag honeymaysims as well. You can also grab the tray files in the description. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today as we build this modern family home, and I can't wait to talk to you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye!